After discussing the XRP ETF ETP that will be released this year and next, we'll take a closer look at the people by the one and only Robbie Mitchell. Without further ado, let's get started. Bitcoin, $67,341. Ethereum is at $3,593, 1.56%. It has decreased by 2.75%. The USDT and the USDC arrive at their dollar pegs precisely where you would expect them to be, with XRP down 2.45% to a mean lean of 62 cents. One thing concerning each of these coins to consider: we are attempting to flip into the green zone on the hourly chart. What is that? Imply that the adjustment may be finished. Possibly not. There are still chances that Bitcoin will fall to that $63,000 area, give or take. Before we can see a recovery, people, there are a lot of bids sitting down there, and we need to pay special attention to them. What I do know is that before Bitcoin reaches its peak, summer altcoins will correct. It is approaching 100,000. It truly is going to be over 125,000 at this point. How high will Bitcoin go at this point? Seeing some folks out there put in, there's a total of 250,000. You know, I'm not sure. What we do know is really unknown to everyone. This cryptocurrency is certainly worth close to $7 trillion, and that $7 trillion needs to blow up if we see a parabolic blow up top. Otherwise, we might be close to $10 trillion. Can you ever fathom that much money? We have yet to witness Bitcoin blow up, so imagine $7 trillion pumped into the cryptocurrency markets where your favorite coin is going to go. I mentioned the villains in the first video, but we haven't seen a significant amount of money shift from Bitcoin to these alternatives yet. It should be a fascinating year. They sold out quickly today. There aren't many remaining. This is an extremely small and exclusive collection, so you'll want to lock in and get started right away. We accept XRP credit cards. We recently announced another metaverse agreement, and we received a 30% return for holding. There are also a few other partnerships scheduled. What subject is he discussing? Keep up the good work, Ripple. Many people concurred that an XRP ETF is on the horizon. Recall BlackRock does as well. The question isn't whether it will happen, but rather when. As for XRP exchange-traded products, ETPs, we already have one of those overseas, but keep in mind that Sean McBride, the former employee of Ripple, predicted that an ETF would be released in 2024 or 2025. He also predicted that a Ripple IPO would occur outside of the US in 2025, which would make sense given that we anticipate that the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit will conclude by the following year. To be clarified, and we'll get to it shortly, but can you envision an XRP ETF scheduled for Q1 of the next year, just at the start of XRP's last run and peak? If that becomes public, with the institutional money that was received, how much higher could the price of XRP go if we so desired? Take a look at the parabolic blow-up tops that might reach XRP. If we were up between $17 and $24, that would be quite incredible. Everyone share this, Alec. Listen to what the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, had to say when he was asked what part XRP and the XRP ledger could play in the Al-Alavite liquidity situation. I adore simple questions like this one, even though you might not. Yes, but I would give you my entire XRP. Perhaps not really, as Ripple focuses on supplying liquidity on demand, and the globe is currently experiencing the worst liquidity crisis ever. What part do you think it plays? These kinds of crises are being lessened by XRP, XRP Ledger, and related technologies, so if you ask yourself, what causes those kinds of crises? One of the dynamics, a crisis like that has many inputs, by the way, is that there is friction. Time is one of them. You may minimize the risks of liquidity difficulties by reducing friction as measured by time and cost, which is a good thing. I don't claim that XRP is a magic bullet for all of these problems, though. I've been really happy with the involvement because I think we can successfully integrate into the current system and more quickly spread the benefits of these technologies to a much wider audience than if we try to avoid the system. We've got actors such as the IMF and central banks, and you know that Ripple will keep working with them. That's one of the reasons we made the statements that we did this week about growing. They're making a more tangible presence here in Washington, D.C., and I'm hopeful that if these technologies spread throughout correspondent banking and other industries, it will be beneficial for any liquidity crisis. That's an intriguing question, isn't it? But then we have this, and this is going to be really important when we talk about the IPO of Ripple and this ETF that will be coming or that we have already seen outside of the U.S. The SEC is scheduled to file its opening brief on March 22nd. A few days later, the lawsuit's pivotal phase would formally begin, and Ripple would have until April 22nd to file. By the deadline of May 6th, the opposing brief might have concluded this case. What else do we expect to see by summer? Well, we expect all coins to begin to make a strong move. Even XRP has stated that it will make its first move during the summer, and according to JP Morgan, the amount invested in the portfolio was 3.7 times larger than that of gold. Interesting, huh? How do you feel? Individuals want to purchase Bitcoin. Thus, it is easily accessible to them. Now, people, using these ETFs, we're going to the more ETFs we introduce into this market, the sooner we will see this happen, I promise. We will now witness an Ethereum ETF. There will be an XRP ETF. Observing the Crypt Baskets ETF, now how will the general public be introduced to the cryptocurrency markets? Excuse me, but you can't beat Aladdin. The network of 5,000 supercomputers is called Aladdin. That's the mixture. The financial landscape is changing due to the ideal synergy of human skill and machine intelligence. BlackRock offers to sell you access. BlackRock offers a membership service where you may obtain a ladder that will advise you on how to trade. Pay attention to Maj, your current clientele is making use of this. Microsoft, Vanguard, Fargo, Wells, American Bank, the Citigroup at Goldman Sachs. Why is it fascinating that Aladdin manages 4 times the value of all actual currency, executes roughly 250,000 trades, and does billions upon billions of financial computations every day? Who is the head of BlackRock's digital ass? Digital resources. Robbie Mitchell. Robbie is who? Mitchell, he's the former Ripper who was employed by Ripple. You know, Chad used to say, this is the checkmate. Why? Essentially, he is currently employed with BlackRock. Who owns this, the head of digital assets? Here's Aladdin's website, your talent, and your secret. Aladdin is the most powerful computer in the world, with AI intelligence combined with these enormous computers that are essentially telling you when to trade and when not to deal. Views from our platform today regarding the outcomes of risk and return asset claims are essentially meaningless. Organizations seek to discover insights across GE regions, horizontal function strategies, and even the Aladdin platform to unlock value and expand. The Alani community makes that possible. Who recalls Robbie? What about Mitch Neck? While they were both working for Ripple Talking, Susan and I co-published the article. Regarding the cost of XRP, this is the paper that was published in June when they discussed the strategic approach to a fair evaluation of it in 2018. Robbie, who is now employed by BlackRock, was shown. Robbie now has an Aladdin supercomputer that tells people when to buy and comprehends trades. We understand how something's liquidity can affect its price. Using this small calculator, they considered the demand for the transactions and the overall demand. After taking the storehouse, they constructed it. The formulas they used to determine velocity and money were completely irrational, and when we can see the computations down below. That they employed to determine a reasonable price for XRP and a fair price for Bitcoin is yes, as we can see right here, Bitcoin. On average, the high estimate of a 12x rate increase was less than roughly 3.5. When discussing the Forex market and its $5 trillion daily trading volume, they brought up the topic of XRP, discussed money matters, namely Western Union call, in the past or even now. Partners at Ripple, yes, they included all of these figures after the papers. If you haven't read the article previously, you really should. It is worth reading through to the end since it is so fascinating. They also discuss the price of Bitcoin. The ESAL of Bitcoin ranges from about 93,000 to about 45,000, where we are currently sitting. It's not that intriguing between them now, is it? And then they discussed XRP. It has a low of roughly $637 and a high of roughly $32.90.